If you have ever wondered how in the hell do I grow my email list, then this is the episode for you. Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good.
I am so excited. I have my friend Liz Wilcox here. She is the fresh princess of email marketing, which is the most amazing title ever. And she is an email strategist and keynote speaker who shows small businesses how to build online relationships and make real money with email. She's best known for selling a blog, turning a $9 offer into a multiple six figures without ads, and helping you untangle the email knot with her simple framework, the email staircase. She loves the 90s. You can totally see her rocking that out if you're catching us on YouTube. She loves headbands and she loves the beach. I am in her email membership. It is such an honor to have you here today, Liz. Thanks for joining me.
Oh my gosh. Hey, friends. This is going to be so fun. Before Shannon hit the record button, we were talking about, list building. That's a big one, right? But I promise, between Shannon and I, we're going to break this down. You're going to get lots of actionable steps and you'll be actually excited. May I be so bold as to say excited about growing your email list? Let's go.
If they're in my world, we're all things email. I was going to tell you that I have made the pivot officially with this season's podcast to all things email marketing. You were a big confirmation of that, Liz. I just want to share that with you. Your work and how committed you are to email. And I always knew I had this commitment, but I didn't fully step into it until about a month and a half ago. So thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. Let's give Shannon a round of applause because that is huge. I geek out over email and, now, I'm so jazzed. Let's go.
All right. So, Liz, let's just kind of dive into who you are, what's jazzing you up these days. I did do a teaser on the last episode. You went to Survivor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I was on this TV show. It's been on for, I don't know, about 23 years. You might have heard of it, called Survivor. So that's a really, non-businessy thing that's jazzing me up right now. At the time of this recording, we are 2 weeks away from the premiere. So, it's exciting. It's also really nerve-wracking because you can control your business. You can control your own, what you put out, what kind of content. I'm just going to say it right now. I have absolutely no control over the edit. I have no idea what they're going to show. And please don't judge me for the things I said and did while starving on an island trying to win $1 million. Because if you don't know, that's the prize. It's $1 million. So stay tuned.
Yes. And just on that note, and I know we're not going to go into the details and we can't, but I do want to ask you, because you have been posting some content. I want to know from the content perspective, are they giving you the content and the wording to post? Like, is it like, this is today, everyone's posting this? I'd love to just kind of hear about the content strategy side of things.
Yeah. I'm a writer at heart, right? So is Shannon, and you're listening to this and you're probably trying to get better at writing. And so no, they might give me something like when we first were able to finally announce after 8 months of being home that this thing happened. They gave us a few templates, so to speak, a few swipes, but I didn't use any of those. And now what I'm posting, Shannon's talking about, I'm posting articles and things. That's purely ego driven. They're not asking me to do that or, even announcing that those articles or videos are up. I'm just obsessed and I want people to watch my content. There's 17 other people that are, have content. So I want my people to watch my content. So I'm just posting because I'm just very excited.
I love that. Thank you so much for being honest. And as we say here, we are human and so are you. So
Amen. I
everyone's
love that.
human. We're talking to humans, we're building business with humans. And in email, we need to be human, right? And I think this is one of the beautiful points that Liz and I so agree on. We do have differences in our email content philosophy. I will say that. But we both do agree. Get people involved. Let it be a two-way communication tool. Ask people to respond to you. Be a human, for God's sake. So, Liz, let's just start there. The humanness of email.
Yeah, I love that. I always say, people ask, B2C, B2B, like, what's the difference? And how do I do email from each perspective? And I actually heard it from some other email marketers, and I was like, yeah, that's it. It was perfect. Robin Kennedy said recently, we're in the human to human business as email marketers. And I was like, I wish I would have come up with that first. So I got to give him credit. But it makes so much sense, especially with email. It's this more intimate channel, right? On Instagram and Facebook and all this, it's all about 10xing your content, being, what is it called? Omnipresent and be everywhere. But with email, it's just one little note sent out to people's inbox. And when people click on that Gmail app or their, Apple Mail or whatever they're using, it's just a different type of behavior, right? It's not, oh, I'm clicking on Facebook so I can doom scroll and check out of my personal life because work was too hard today. It's, oh, I need to check my email to see if there's anything important in there. And that's why we can really, I don't know, as the cool kids say, go hard in that very intimate, I know Shannon teaches a lot about storytelling. I teach a lot about, making those real connections with people and being incredibly relatable in your newsletters, but it's because the behavior is different. It's just a human trying to figure out what's important in their inbox, trying to make real connections and get rid of the spam, right? And so yeah, the human to human thing, it doesn't matter what kind of business, whether you're a coach or consultant, or maybe you provide a service, like you're in the human business. And that's one of the things, I love about email and I love about Shannon.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say at the height of the last January, February, March, when AI, like everyone seemed to be consumed with AI. And I've shared this story with all of my community. Our business actually tanked in Q1 last year. And it's because we had gone all in on messaging. Which I think is important because your marketing's only going to be as good as your messaging. So we were teaching great messaging to use either in your email or your social. Well, all of a sudden AI hits the scene and lo and behold, we are getting responses like, oh, AI can do this for free. I am not actually going to invest with you. And it was a really hard part of my business. It was a really, I had to really ground in, Liz, to what I'm here to do and who I'm here to serve. And thank God the craze kind of wore off and people came back. But during that time, I added one line to my emails. You can always hit reply. I am human here and so are you. And the amount of people who continue to hit reply on our email, one, I think they're wondering, is someone really going to answer me? And spoiler alert, yes, I am answering you. And it takes me some time, but I love it. I love hearing from my listeners. And so the big takeaway before we kind of jump into some questions today is just be a human, y'all. Be a human in your email, talk to another human, pretend they're sitting on your sofa with a cup of
Amen.
coffee or a cup of tea and have fun with it.
I love that, Shannon. Before we get into list building, like I just want to give you guys a really practical example because AI, like it's a tool to help you get further, but you can't ever use it as a replacement for that real interaction and that real connection. So just think about two very large American-based companies that use AI in their business. McDonald's uses AI and Chick-fil-A uses AI. One of those companies has used AI to completely replace employees. The other has actually increased the amount of employees and empowered those employees to use AI for a better, faster, more efficient checkout for their customers. Which one do you want to be? Right? Like, when was the last time you went into McDonald's? And when was the last time maybe you checked out a Chick-fil-A? Or maybe you even just drove past a Chick-fil-A. I live in Florida. Chick-fil-A's are everywhere and they cause a lot of traffic because the drive-through is always incredibly packed. But they're both using AI for a checkout system, but they're using it in completely different ways. One has tried to completely remove, humans, and the other, like Shannon, has said, hey, it's actually a pleasure to serve you. Hit reply. I'm a human and you're a human, right? If you've got a question, ask me. So, when it comes to AI, just think about Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and, which one do you want to be to your customers? But
Oh,
list building.
I love that. Let's go to list building. So, if you've ever wondered, like, I have this lead magnet, or maybe you need a better lead magnet, we'll talk about that in a moment. How do I use this lead magnet to actually attract the right people so I can grow my email list? Right? Liz and I both are firm believers your email list is the most sustainable long-term strategy for your business for a lot of reasons. We've covered that many times over in this season of the podcast. But Liz, let's talk about lead magnets in particular. I am on a mission to actually change the word from lead magnet to lead conversion tool, because that is what it should be doing. We are not just magnets that collect things. We really want a human to buy from us so we can serve them. So what is the tool that we're creating for that? So how do we create that lead magnet or that lead conversion tool that actually attracts the right type of buyer to our list?
Yeah. So you're listening to this. You already know list building, it's essential to your business. List building, it's a money making activity right now. But something I think we all get tripped on is, like, list building is not about getting to the highest number possible. Just like Shannon said, how do we get the right people on our email list? If it's about getting to the highest number possible, maybe I run ads to 30 different countries and I create this broad lead magnet that's going to scoop up every person on Etsy possible, right? Because I'm an Etsy coach. But if I know that, list building, it's not about getting to the highest number possible, it's about getting those right people, then I'm creating that lead conversion tool a little differently, right? I'm not worried about, does this catch everyone? It's just, does this catch the right amount of people? So your lead magnet, I want you to think of it, with your big vision in mind. What is the vision that you have for your clients, your students, your customers, right? For me and Shannon, we want you to understand email marketing and we want you to make money with email marketing. And, Shannon she's declared, honestly, I love marketing, but email, that's the only thing I'm going to care about for you from here on out, right? That's her vision for you. You know that. She tells you that. I've got the same vision. What is the vision you have? If people are graduating from university, they're walking across the stage, you are handing them a degree. What do they have a degree in? Right? For us, it's email marketing, right? Then from there, work backwards. If you're giving them that degree, what's the first day of class look like? What resources can you give them to succeed now that they're enrolled in this program? What's the first lesson, right? So come with the vision in mind. And I know this can be hard. Sometimes we're all over the place. Oh, I want to coach this person. Oh no, I don't like working with those people. I want to work with this, but you've got to start somewhere. So, firm up the vision and work backwards. Then from there, oh yeah, this is the first lesson. Think about the format. Format is incredibly important. You wouldn't give a 5-day, email course to a single mom who works 2 jobs, right? Think about who your person is. If you're some kind of meditation coach for moms, maybe your format is a simple playlist of songs to calm them down after or during nap time, right? Think about what is best for them to learn. They're sitting in your classroom. It's the first day. Who's in your classroom and how can you serve them best right now? So think about that format. If you work with full-time entrepreneurs like myself, that 5-day email course, it might be okay to send out. My lead conversion tool is a welcome sequence already written. The format it's in is Google Docs because most people that I work with are already using G Suite. So again, think about your vision, work backwards to that first day of class, and then remember that the format, the way you teach it, what you supply to learn that first lesson of the day is really important.
Yeah, I love that. If you're listening and you're interested, we've just announced we are running a 3-day lead magnet class workshop. We're going to help you do that in April. And just like Liz says, I call this premium positioning for your who. Who is going to read this thing or download it or consume it in whatever way? What is their situation and what do they need to know so that they keep opening your emails? That is the goal. That is the
I
goal
love
right
that.
there.
Amen. And it goes back to what I started this conversation with. It's not about getting to the highest number possible, right? We lose the who if we're just focused on gotta get 1,000, gotta get 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, right? We lose that who, but it's always coming back to that vision and like, who are you trying to serve with that vision? I love that so much, Shannon. Really awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to talk about ads. Do we need to run ads? I know you've built a beautiful email marketing membership. I'm in it. I love your swipes. I love the ideas. I love the community. And I do want to hear your take on ads. And then I'm finally ready to share what happened when I decided to do ads for 6 months after 13 years of organic, because I just turned them off on Friday and my audience has been waiting for me to drop this information.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm like, screw Liz. Let's get to Shannon. But as far as, my opinion, I'm under the impression that Mark Zuckerberg has enough money and most of us don't. And so, I love that Shannon said she did 13 years of organic because I don't want you to think you have to run ads in order to, keep up with the industry or grow your list or, like you can't have the time or the effort to be bothered to do some of these other list building strategies. It's the same as AI. AI promises so much. Facebook ads can promise so much too, but is it worth it? Especially as you're forming that vision for people, you're really honing in on who you want to serve, like Shannon said. Maybe don't run ads right then and there. I love that Shannon said, I waited 13 years. I mean, after 13 years, she's probably pretty darn dialed in to who's listening to this podcast, who's signing up for her programs, and who she wants to see those ads, right? So for me, I say, you don't have to run ads. If you want to, go ahead, but be sure that you are actively running them. It's not this passive thing that people like to talk about and sell. That's sexy. Facebook ads are anything but, as I'm sure Shannon knows now, right? And so make sure you're actively looking at who is this being shown to. Are these people that are, downloading this lead conversion tool? Are they converting? Are they answering? Are they hitting reply when I ask them? And then, from the data, continue to run ads, tweak them, or turn them off and try something else.
Yeah, I
Okay,
love
I'm
that.
dying, Shannon. I'm dying. Please tell us.
Revolutionize your messaging and marketing with story.
Hop on over to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/65 story ideas to grab a resource that will help you craft stories that grow your community, convert prospects to clients, and increase your visibility and impact. I know. Okay, so just a little bit of a backstory is for 12 years, I said, I will never run ads. And then I said, well, I should never say never, because actually I needed to do it this past 6 months so I could then come back and say, this is why I said I would never run ads.
Okay, we got the spoiler. Good.
All
Details.
right.
Go.
So, how have nearly $1 million a year business, all organic traffic, small list by intents and purposes. My list stays about between 4,000 and 5,000 people, but they're the right people. They're the people who are in it for the long run. They're the people who are, want to have a life outside of their business and don't want to live on social media. So I decided I would run ads. I hired my friend who does ads for a living. I trusted her. That was the number one thing. If I was going to go all in, I just needed not to question if I was trusting the person doing it. So I paid $6,000 for a consultant. They worked their tail off. For 6 months, we got 800 and some leads. We spent about $12,000. Most of those leads are what I'm going to call dead people. Like, I can't even find them. They will not answer an email. Their email bounces back. They put in fake emails. If we do find them on Facebook because they've come into our group, they're not willing to take the quiz to determine their content personality. They're scared of giving their email address away. And several of them have asked me and Amy for a job at Joyful Business
Weird.
Revolution. So
That's the weirdest thing I've heard on a podcast in a while. Rate and subscribe.
actually, so that's my quick view. I'm going to be doing more in depth on the intricacies of it. But what I want everyone to know is last year in 2023, we added 2,300 email contacts to our list without ads. And you can do it too. Okay, you can do it if you're committed to it. And I'm going to tell you, those 2,300 people are real people answering emails, coming to workshops, and they're in it to win it. And I'm going to go back and say, you don't need to do ads. In fact, I think it's a waste of time, because I know as a marketing and messaging strategist, if I've got my message dialed in and my marketing dialed in and I knew what I was looking for, Liz, I just sit around and I think how many people are just getting hosed on this ad game.
I mean, like I said, Zuckerberg, I think he's got enough money. Period. It's sad. And I was just on the phone with someone. We were talking about ads, and I said, here's the thing, especially for coaches and consultants and even service providers running ads, y'all. And I'm probably your ideal client for a lot of, for you listening. I'm not on Facebook actively looking for that solution, though. I'm not on Facebook looking for a copywriter. I'm on Facebook because my kid was just driving me nuts and she's finally in the shower and I have a moment of peace and I want to disassociate. Okay. And that's what we can explain the behavior of, Shannon's people not taking the quiz, not hitting reply, asking for a job, right? We have to go, and maybe this leads into the next question. We have to go where our people are actively looking for the solution. And if that's Facebook, like I've bought off Facebook ads before, and I was like, wow, maybe I was wrong about Facebook ads. This is a life-changing product. Thanks, Zuck. But, as a coach, as a service provider, where are your people actively, and that's the key word, actively looking for the solution you provide? It's probably not their Facebook feed. It might be a Facebook group, but it's probably not the Facebook feed where they're just doom scrolling, right? Yeah. And it's definitely, remember at the top of the hour, we talked about when people hit that Gmail app, it's an active form of searching. I'm looking for something to help me. That's why we need to grow our list. I love a full circle moment, don't you? That's why we need to grow our list and focus on it, and why it's essential to your business. Because when I hit that Gmail app as your ideal customer, I'm actively looking for solutions.
Absolutely. I love this. So let's talk about what are some organic ways that coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners can grow their email list? What do you see working, or what's some of your favorite, Liz?
Yeah. Well, first we always have to do some prep work, because none of this is going to work if your ecosystem is not set up for leads, right? Shannon never would have found those 2,300 people if there wasn't a landing page or, a place people could go on her website. At the end of this, I might say, hey, go to my website. And then what? I need to set it up for leads. So make sure before you start going and pitching yourself and finding the eyeballs, right? Doing the things Shannon and I are telling you to do, we've got to set up your ecosystem. And I know this is really hard for like consultants and service providers because we want everything to say book a call, just please get on a discovery call, something like DM me. I don't care. Let's talk. Right. But not everyone is always ready to book a call with you, but they're mostly curious. That's why they're on your website or they're checking out your Instagram account or, consuming your content over in your Facebook group. And so we've got to, on our homepage, our about page, our social medias, have something that they can, sign up for the email list, right? I recommend for service providers and the like, at least 2 times on your homepage. Maybe it's right at the top, maybe it's in your footer, maybe it's, a separate section. Hey, not ready to book a call? Blue, blah, blah, right? Get on my list. And then in your about page, remember your about page is not about you. It's about your ideal customer, right? So talk about them. Sure, if you've got a book a call button, put it on there, but again, not ready to book a call or, just curious, join this list where you're going to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And so with that, there are lots of different ways you can grow your list, but it comes back to what Shannon and I were talking about earlier of who are you serving and then where are they actively searching for a solution. For example, I used to be a blogger. Shout out to Pinterest. People are all over Pinterest actively searching for my blog posts. You're a coach or service provider. Maybe people are in Facebook groups. Maybe people are listening to podcasts like this one. Maybe they're reading blogs or articles. How can you get in front of them? How can you, spend a little time to get on podcasts? My people listen to podcasts. I've been on close to 300 podcasts in 3 years. Hopefully you can tell. Hopefully that didn't sound like what, really? uh, but that's because I know that's where my customers are. And I know that I can craft a good story when I'm on a podcast. I know I've got actionable steps. I have a framework, right? And, full disclosure, I have my notes right behind the camera in case I, go off on a tangent. I'm anchoring myself, but I know that's something I'm good at. If you're a writer, what are some articles or some blogs you can get into, right? So really think about who your people are, where are they at, and how can I get in front of them?
Yes, I love that. And for the podcasters out there or the podcast listeners, I think it's really important. You don't have to have a podcast to make the strategy work for you. And I've really been watching Liz's content. I know she was at Podfest, and so I'm dying to ask, is there a podcast in your future? I know you've been guesting for years, but Liz, are we going to have a Liz podcast?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of my people are now asking for that, as my business grows. Liz, you're on all these podcasts. Just start your own. So if there is going to be a podcast, it will start as first for the people in my membership to see if I even like it. And then maybe I'll be, as cool as Shannon one day and speak to you and all your friends to the public. But I don't know. I'm y'all, and this is another thing, especially with list building. What is the most efficient way you can do things? And the reason why Liz Wilcox doesn't have a podcast is because for Liz Wilcox specifically, it's not very efficient. I consider myself a writer first and foremost. That's the easiest way to learn the tech or even to hire someone to do the tech side of things has always felt overwhelming for me. And so it was just for Liz herself more efficient to just get on other people's podcasts or to just, pitch myself for articles and guest blog posts, things like that. And so really thinking about like am I going to like to do? Because I could list off, cross promotions, networks, podcasts, your email signature, bundles, link sharing, guesting, those are all, and I see someone fervently writing notes right now. Those are all great strategies. But think about like what is going to work for you, like what is most efficient for the way your brain works, your personality, and your people, and then do that thing.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to talk more in a minute about the content and personality. But if you're listening to this podcast, for 8 years, I have been leading the industry with getting people aligned with their superpower in marketing, which is your content personality. And you heard right here from Liz, she identifies as a writer, writing is her strength. She has an email membership that she writes templates and she sends it to us. I also love to write. I use Medium and my blog and LinkedIn newsletters for my very long form content. Then it goes to my email and then it comes to this podcast. Amy had to convince me to even do a podcast last year. I was happy not having a podcast. But what we found over the past year, to Amy's credit, she said, Shannon, people are listening to podcasts about marketing and we're missing out if we don't have a podcast. Now, all of you know I'm a live in-person content personality. That is what converts for me. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, I'm actually having a lot of fun because I'm looking at Liz across Zoom. We're making faces at each other and kind of seeing what's going on and we're having fun. And that is the only way in hell Amy convinced me to do a podcast is if I could see someone else. And that includes Amy. When Amy and I record our solo episodes, we are looking at each other on Zoom and it feels like that live in-person content personality energy. So find what works for you. If you're not sure, take the content personality quiz. I will link it in the show notes for this particular episode because I think it's super relevant. And you can always go back to season 1. And once you get your result, listen to the podcast for your specific content personality result because you need to be, as we say around here, if it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit. So you need to be joyful in your content creation and business building. Awesome. So Liz, some people find it really hard. A lot of times that I hear, well, it's hard for me to be visible, or visibility is a thing for me. I don't want to spend my life on social. Like these are a lot of the things that I hear. So what are your tips and takeaways for people who might be a little more shy about getting themselves out there and their voice into the world?
Yeah, let's just gather around, listen up. I just want to give you a little pep talk first. List building, and this is maybe a little mindset shift for you. And I want to recognize, like, I know it's really hard. You would not know this about Liz, but I actually was mute until the age of 7. Like thinking about it, my face is starting to get a little pinker. Like I have always had a very like large fear of being seen. And I've just, not that I pushed through to the detriment of my mental health, but I know that like let's anchor ourselves in that vision. I know I'm here for a purpose. Shannon said it best, 20 minutes ago. I know that it was, the right time to just talk about email. That's where I need to be serving people. And I know you're listening to this because you have that same similar feeling. I know I need to help people with XYZ. And so just anchor yourself in that first. And then you have to understand that list building and visibility, I'm sorry, I say it with love, they go hand in hand. It's like Mary Kate and Ashley in the 90s. I know they're different people, but I can't tell them apart. I really can't. And so the more you become visible in your business, the more your list is going to grow and the more you're going to help people move towards that mutual vision that you share together, right? It's not just my vision that you make money with email. You wouldn't be hanging out with Shannon and listening to this series if that wasn't your vision too. And so, the same way visibility and list building go hand in hand, You and your client go hand in hand, but they can't find you if you're not visible. And so, I say it with love, but you have to be the hype of your business. I listen to a lot of hip hop, and in hip hop concerts, there's a hype man that comes out and he's like, "Oh yeah, LL Cool J, the best, 20 minutes." And then when, the artist is singing, they're doing backup vocals and they're reiterating everything, the hip hop artist is saying. Unfortunately, in our business, there's no hype man coming out. You have to be, you don't have to be obnoxious like that, but remember, like, you've got a vision for your clients that they desperately need help, moving towards. And so you've got to get visible. And it goes back to what Shannon and I were saying about fit, or pick what fits your personality. And definitely, if you haven't taken her quiz, oh my gosh, here's your sign. I know you're driving or doing the dishes, but commit it to memory when you're, when you're done, when you're pulled over, take that quiz, because it's really going to help you figure out, oh yeah, I am good at this. That is my thing. And, I can come up with the strategies that, hype myself, so to speak, in the right ways, right? Like, for me, if you have that, well, I'll stop there and then I can get into a couple tactics too. What do you think, Shannon?
Yeah, let's do some tactics before we close out today.
Okay. So if you're feeling, oh my gosh, so nervous, I could never go on 300 podcasts, vomit, there are some things that you can do. And the number one thing, and I'm sure Shannon will agree, you do have to network, right? The more people that you know and the more people that know of you, the more opportunities to be seen, the more visible you're going to become. So networking can lead to things like link sharing. Like if Shannon and I, we wanted to get together, like, oh, Shannon's doing this, lead conversion tool training in April. I could promote that if she promotes my, sales page training. She's not teaching sales pages anymore. Great. I've got that one coming up in August. We can link share, right? Even though we're doing pretty congruent, similar things, there are differences. So, but I couldn't have done that if we weren't networking. And guess how Shannon and I found each other? She had a call to action about being on her podcast, and someone I know, I can't remember who it is, tagged me in it, right? So the more the more people the more you grow. That's truly what I believe. So you can do link sharing, guesting on podcasts, or if that is too much for you, try guest blogging, right?
Yeah.
What, I could write it. I could never speak this, but I could write it. I can zhuzh it up. I can send it over. And let me tell you something about blogging. Even the bloggers find it overwhelming. Okay. It's a lot of work. You got to think about keywords and, Google wants me to have how many words nowadays? And oh gosh, I gotta make these images too. It's a lot of work coming from an ex-blogger. And so if you pitch me and you're half decent, yeah, you can get on my blog. Great. That's one less article I have to write. So that's going to be a really good one for you as well. Um, and then, yeah, I think it just comes down back to the networking, and the opportunities will come from there. Period.
And I want to add one that we've been having great success with. So last year I told myself first and then my team, we were going into Operation OPA mode, other people's audiences.
Amen. Amen.
And everyone's time is limited and our marketing calendars are full with whatever. So I had to get really creative. But one of the things, Liz, I've been doing that has been so fun, and it's not a heavy lift for either person, is what I'm calling a lead magnet exchange. So I've written a swipe copy for the content personality quiz, and let's say you have a swipe copy for one of your lead magnets, and we just agree on the month that we're going to do the exchange, and it's simple. And my list has grown, which was my goal, and to get in front of other audiences. But the side benefit of this that I didn't actually see, but now I'm glad I got the feedback from my own email community, is I love being introduced to the people that you know. And I thought, I'm going to keep doing it this year. So we are. 2024 lead magnet exchanges. Super
I
simple,
love
super
that.
fun.
it's so simple. Like Shannon just said, it's so fun. And what Shannon said best right here is like the people you know. And because I know you and I'm on your email list, if you recommend Shannon to me, there's that exchange of trust. So it's not like what Shannon talked about a few minutes ago of these people were pretty much dead or asking me for a job, right? They're actively in their inbox looking for solutions. Oh, wow. Liz recommended Shannon. Well, I trust Liz a lot. I've been on her email list for a year. This is great. I'm going to go over here and learn even more. So, yeah, those lead magnet exchanges are so like perfect, simple, fun. And it goes back to, you got to put yourself out there. I know, as the cool kids would say nowadays, cringe. But you just gotta, and you're gonna find amazing people like Shannon and I found each other, right? It's not a cringy thing. It's an awesome thing. And you're going to be excited to get to know the people that they know. Really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I can't even believe it, but our time is up, Liz. We could have talked for days. I'm sure. Do you have a free gift for people, a lead magnet? How can they get into your world and on your email list?
Yeah, of course. I'm an email marketer. I'd love for you to join my list. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right hand corner, there's a hot pink button. You can't miss it. You'll get an entire welcome sequence already written for you. You'll get 3 newsletter samples and 52 subject lines for a year full of prompts. Hot pink button. Writing from scratch sucks. Don't do it. Let me do it for you. LizWilcox.com. Thanks so much for having me, Shannon. And thanks for listening. I really can't wait to see what everybody does and how they grow their list this year.
Thank you so much for being here. And in the next episode, I am bringing in my friend Ty Goodwin, who's going to talk to you all about using quizzes to generate quality leads. We will see you then. Adios.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Your Business for Good podcast with your hosts, Shannon Hernandez and Amy Hager.
Come on over to the joyful side of business and marketing. Go to www.joyfulbusinessrevolution.com and remember our mantra: if it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit.
If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this show, leave a review, and spread the good news with other coaches and consultants.
Adios.